Welcome everybody to another Purpose Served podcast episode. I have Raegan right here, right in front of me. She has started Next Level and also 20 something collective, which is pretty much like an entrepreneurship program for like people that's like I'd say in their 20s, but generally anybody. But for people in their 20s that's like looking to create any and everything from a product to a service and just truly being who they truly are meant to be. And she just started this recently, and I wanted you to talk about how the last event went with Next Level and how you came about starting it.
For sure. Yeah. Well, first off, thanks so much again for inviting me on here. I'm super excited. I've listened to a couple of your podcasts and I'm just really honored for you to even ask me to be on here. So
I
thank you
appreciate
again.
it.
And we obviously have had like really great conversations leading up to this, but I think it's so cool because you live in New Jersey, right? And I'm
Yep.
from Iowa. So it's just so cool, like the power of social media and just like we talk, like we definitely think that this was meant to be, but it's just also super random. So yeah, I'm just so excited. We've already had super great conversations and just really excited to be here. So thanks again, first
Of
off, for
course.
asking me to be on. But yeah, so Next Level. I guess the 20 something collective, I actually rebranded it from it was originally called Lessons from a 20 something. And so my original thought was like I was gonna make a blog and like a podcast with it. But then I had the idea of doing Next Level, which Next Level is a 4-day virtual personal growth event for 20 somethings. And basically the idea behind it is to feature nine speakers, so 3 speakers each day for the first 3 days. And they're just normal or like ordinary people like us, you know. That's the biggest thing with my whole brand is just wanting to feature other ordinary people who are choosing to do extraordinary things. Like, you know, they didn't grow up in whatever, they didn't already have it made when they were born, they didn't grow up in a certain family, like they're just normal people who are, they want a different life and they want more out of life. So a couple of the speakers were friends from college, and then a couple of them were just random people I'd been following online that I had learned a lot from, and a couple of them were like high school friends or people that I just, you know, people you meet. It's all about who you know. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
um,
I
so yeah.
see.
Oh, go
Uh,
ahead.
my
Sorry.
bad. But I seen like from that you had like people that's into personal training,
Mhm.
financial advisors, all across the board with like spirituality, personal growth. So every day that I noticed that it was a different theme. Like I said, from a physical well-being theme and then a financial theme. So it was like really really cool to like from all aspects that is like people at our age that is thinking like that and in so many different ways. And it's also kind of, cool to me that it's like it's a universal thing where people are doing different things, but it's pertaining to the same thing. And it's like I've found that extremely, extremely interesting. And was that even like difficult to even put that whole thing together? I would assume that it kind of is. It kind of, I know it got crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly threw it together in like 3 weeks, but that's kind of how all my business ideas are. Like, I just like come up with an idea, and I know we talked about this. Like, I'm just like, I'm gonna go for
Go.
it. And yeah, so um, when I came up with the idea, it was like the beginning of December, and my thought was, everyone always says like New Year, new me, and that's just when people really are ready to like change. It's a big time when people are ready to like, you know, just better themselves and stuff. So I'm like, you know what, like, why couldn't I just go for it? Like, make something happen in January. It could totally fail, but it could also be really cool. And yeah, the speakers definitely are what made the event. Like, that's my biggest thing with my brand too, is um, the 20 something collective. Like, the reason I call it that is because I don't want it to be about me. Like, I just want to be the one to like connect people and be the one, you know, I don't want to be the big deal. I just want people our age to connect with other like-minded people and find other really cool 20 somethings who are just doing really cool stuff. So short answer, you know, it was a lot of work for sure. Like, on the back end, honestly, I'd probably put like close to 20 to 30 hours into it, but it's like I loved it. Like, it was fun to me. It's like it's
So I
super.
bet you it didn't
Yeah,
even feel like 20 hours when you were
right.
actually doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. it really didn't. I mean, I'm honestly guessing there. It might have been more. But it's just like, it's so much fun to me and I love connecting with people. So really that was most of it, was recording the speaker presentations and going on lives and like just connecting with attendees. And that's all stuff that I love anyway. So it really didn't even feel like work to me. It was just like, hey, this is something I enjoy doing and I'm, going to make a business model out of it. So, overall, yeah, it was a huge success. We had over 100 people sign up, which was really cool because I didn't advertise it. Like I didn't do any marketing with it really, other than obviously like speaker bios. And I didn't like pay for any advertising, I guess I should say. But the speakers like definitely got the word out, and just other attendees, they like spread the word to their friends and stuff. So overall, for not really doing much on like the marketing side, I was really impressed how it turned out. But it was so much fun too. It was just like, it was such a fun event.
The one thing that I believe that we're lacking like nowadays is like pretty much like, especially like our age group, is just things with substance, that stuff that we can hold on to and really that resonate with us, that we can like use throughout our life and like pass it on to our kids, and our kids pass it on to their kids. And like literally like what you just did is something along those like lines. You know what I mean? It's really, really hard to create something that's in your head and like bring it into reality. And for the most part, that holds people back. And like for somebody like you, I commend you, because it's just like, it's difficult when you don't, especially when you don't have the blueprint beforehand, and you just got to go through it yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, what if it don't work? What if, you know what I mean? What makes you persevere like through that like kind of mindset, if that does like start creeping in?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. And I mean, yeah, just to be totally transparent, like a big thing that I've really been trying to overcome the last couple of years is just caring what people think about me. And obviously a lot of people around our age struggle with that, but that's something I've just been really working on a lot. So for me, even with Next Level, it's good that I did put it together so quickly, because I did have some imposter syndrome around it, or just like, kind of nervous what my friends would think, or things like that. But at the end of the day, it's like knowing that, and we talked about this, is like, it was an idea that started out kind of smaller, but it's so much bigger than me. And like, I think as I started doing Next Level, and like the more I think about this business, the more I know like it's not about me. It's like so much bigger than me. And I'm trying to create this like movement, or this collective of people our age, exactly like you talked about, to like start thinking differently and stop being like so caught up in the society's like definition of success. That's something I'm super passionate about, is like thinking for yourself and not listening to your friends and family and what they say success means, but like figuring that out for yourself. So I guess to answer your question, it's really just knowing that it's not about me. Like, and just I had a coach. I was in like a group program, and that was the biggest thing she helped me with, is like, yo, this event is happening either way. Like, you already planned it. It's happening. You have to get over, like, nicely. She's like, you have to get over yourself and just like do it for all the attendees going, and know that it's not about you. It's like so much bigger than you. And so, yeah, I guess I hope that answers your question.
Oh no, that definitely did. And even like, so did you get like a weird feeling as that date started coming up, like, this is too much pressure, and I'm in over my head?
Yeah, definitely. Mostly for me, it was like figuring out all the tech stuff on the back end, because they don't teach you that in college. Like, I've had to figure all this out myself. And originally my plan was to upload the speaker videos unlisted on YouTube and then send attendees links, but that ended up not working out because my laptop's kind of messed up right now. So I ended up having to do everything on Google Drive, and just like there's just so much, stuff I had to figure out very last minute. So yeah, it definitely was interesting to say the least, but it all came together. Everything worked out in the end. And it's just like, I definitely felt, like I said, imposter syndrome, like especially the 2 or 3 days before, like leading up to it, I was just like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? Like, I know this is going to turn out good, but like, I'm really nervous for it. So, yeah, it
That's
was.
I literally was talking to you about that like recently with the very first podcast that I even put up. And when I first ordered my podcast equipment, I was like super nervous about doing podcasts. And I was like, oh my God, do I even really want to do this? Like, oh man. is this going to work out? What am I going to talk about? Do I even have anything to talk about? And it took like 2 weeks for my podcast equipment to come in. And I'll say probably like 6 or 7 days in, I was just like, wow, I literally made one of the biggest mistakes in my life with doing this,
Right.
you know? And even like I told you, being like a camera shy person that I'm kind of still am, but of course I got to get over that, you know? But all in all, just me even getting over these weird mental humps that I've been having has been showing me how much that I've been like, that I'm actually capable of. But also I've been realizing that, you know, not only do I feel this way, but so many people feel this way about their everyday life. And I've been trying to, I guess, understand myself better from that kind of aspect. But all in all, it's just like, I look at it as like, when I get those feelings like that, it's just like, all right, this is just telling me that I need to grow out of whatever box that I'm like in right now. That's like how I'm like pretty much taking it.
For real, yeah. That's so true. It's exactly what it is. It's you know, we all have these mental like blocks that a lot of people don't realize. Like they just think like this is just who I am. Like if I'm camera shy, that's just always how I'm gonna be. Like that's just who I am. But I don't know if you've ever heard of like the book Mindset by Carol Dweck. It's basically about growth mindset, if you've heard of that concept.
I did.
Yeah. So that's exactly what you described though. It's like the idea that you're not like a fix, you're not the way you are now isn't how you always have to be. Like you can choose to grow and like give yourself grace as you like learn things.
Wow. I
Yeah.
actually read that book. And none of, you just said one word that just triggered me. And it was talking about, I remember, a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And like
Mhm.
pretty much like, for example, somebody with a fixed mindset is like somebody like, for example, that everybody gets a trophy
Yeah.
kind of mindset. And the growth mindset is like, yeah, there's gonna be a winner and loser in this,
Mhm.
like kind of a thing. So I
Right.
do remember that. I don't remember how long ago like I read this, but actually I'm not even sure if I read it in that book. I'm kind of like tweaking right now, but
Yeah, a lot of like successful people talk about it because it's like a huge part in becoming successful. Like even for me, like I go to a therapist once a week, and like so I definitely had to work with her leading up to the event just about like imposter syndrome and feeling worthy. And like a lot of stuff for me with money is like, or with business stuff is like I love doing this kind of stuff. And like we kind of talked on, you know, when we messaged and stuff, but just growing up with kind of like a broke mindset, small town Iowa, like family not having much money growing up, like feeling worthy of success and feeling worthy of like, I just love helping people, but knowing that like, you know, the amount of people that I impact, like I'm worthy of, you know, also being successful and like becoming wealthy and things like that. So those are blocks I'm coming or like working on right now, but especially around imposter syndrome, working like leading up to the event. I had to talk to my therapist and be like, hey, I'm like, you know, really feeling a lot of imposter syndrome right now. Like I know that I put all the work in, but it's just like, it still it happens to all of us. And yeah, growth mindset is a huge piece of it. And I'm trying to focus on that a lot more, but I definitely recommend anyone who hasn't heard of it, definitely look into it. It's like, it's a game changer. Just realizing, you know, just the way you think about things can like change your life for sure. So we talk about that a lot too.
yeah. And for those for people that don't know what imposter syndrome is, could you like explain that to them and
Yeah,
what it can lead to?
for sure. I am an expert by no means, but from my, I guess, point of view, it's just, oh gosh, like feeling, wow, I don't even know how to put this into words. Basically, you know, not feeling good
What
enough.
yeah, what triggers it? What can
Yeah.
trigger it?
So for me and for a lot of people, from what I understand, it's like feeling like you're not good enough or like you don't deserve to be, you know, as successful as you are, or um, a lot of times you just think people are going to find out that you're actually a fraud and that you don't deserve to like be successful and that you just faked it, which isn't true. It's just you feeling that way because yeah, just like your inner self-worth and things like that. So that's not a good definition by any means. There was actually a presenter at Next Level who she did a whole presentation over it, and
Yeah, I seen the chart and everything.
yeah, it was so good. I honestly should share that with you if you want to put it out. She explains it way better, but for me, it really just shows up in like feeling worthy of, you know, accomplishing my goals and dreams sometimes, or just like yeah, just feeling like an imposter, like, oh my gosh, what if everyone knows that I threw this event together in 3 weeks, and like, stuff like that. And it turned out really good, but part of you is just worried too that if they knew that, they would look at you differently or whatever. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and I was seeing like even with I did see that one when she was speaking, and like
Mhm.
pretty much how that can lead to like those like negative thoughts that you have can ultimately lead to self-sabotage, and
Oh,
you ultimately, failing yourself by putting yourself in circumstances where it's going to prove your mindset right, with you feeling as though you're not worthy of doing whatever it is that you're trying to do, even though you're literally right at the cusp of getting it done, you
yeah,
know and
true.
that's a scary thing. And I would want to say personally for myself, I put myself in that sort of situation, throughout these last couple years, until I started, getting over myself and asking myself, why do I feel that way? Or why am I thinking that way to even begin with? And a lot of times it's from me, I guess, not listening to my inner self and
Mhm.
listening more to what the outside world got to tell me, such as, my friends, the world that I have like going on around me, social media, TV, and all of these media influences. I
Mhm.
really took that more in account, more than what my actual self, the one who knows me best, was really trying to tell me. And a lot of people do suffer from that, but that's like it's a weird thing and a tricky thing to deal with. You know what I mean? Because it's elusive and it's also loud at the same time. So
Mhm.
it's for a lot of people, I always try to tell them, like, you got to seek what you truly are passionate about first, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, and then determine what direction it's trying to pull you in. But as long as it's helping the people around you for the better, then you're going down the right direction. Now, if you want to commit to like self-sabotaging yourself and, like, you know what I mean, you like alcohol and you want to drink every night,
Mhm.
because you feel as though that's what you should be doing, I can't stop nobody from doing that, but that's not going to help the people around you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely. And that was all pure gold. Also, you should, like, listeners, you should go back and listen to that like 30 seconds because that was so good. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I mean, the thing with me is, like, I didn't know imposter syndrome was really a thing until like 6 months ago or a year ago. So I've just recently been learning about it a lot more. But the thing with self sabotage and imposter syndrome, especially if you don't know it's a thing, you don't realize that you're doing it, or you don't realize like how much of an impact your negative thoughts or your, we all kind of go through the party phase, whatever. But it's like people who do that for I don't know, people who live that way, like that's their lifestyle, don't realize how those choices that they're making now are going to impact the rest of their life. And like, you know, the choices you make today impact your life 5, 10, 20 plus years from now. And you don't think so at the time because you're just having fun. And like you said, you're in a way self-sabotaging a lot of times. But people don't look at it that way. They just look like, I'm having fun, I'm in my 20s, this is my time to like party. But really, my whole thought, especially with, the 20 something collective, is you can actually like change the way you think and build a foundation of success based on what success means to you, like what things you want out of life, thinking bigger, dreaming bigger, not listening to society. Like, what does that mean to you based on your values? And then start taking little steps toward like building habits and, just journaling and figuring out what you really do want out of life. Cause I feel like a big thing, I'm going off on a tangent. Sorry. I feel
Go
like a
right
big
ahead. No, nobody stopping you. Trust me.
I feel like a big thing for people our age is everyone's always like, yeah, I don't know what I want to, like, I don't know what I want in life. Like, I just don't know what I want to do. And I just feel really lost, which is valid. And it's like super common. Like, sometimes I feel like we think that we're the only one who feels that way, or not many, like, everyone our age has it figured out, which by no means. I know people in like their freaking like 70s or whatever, like 50s, 40s, who don't have it figured out still. So it's not about that, but it's about actually taking time to like reflect and like figure out what you want. You can't expect to know what you want if you never take time to actually like work on figuring that out. So I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know if that like makes sense, but that's my thought. It's just like, how can people like be mad about not knowing if you don't actually do the work to like figure that out for yourself?
I've been having an interesting conversation with this dude named Rick. Cool guy. He's actually going to be on the next episode of the podcast. But
Nice.
he's pretty much like he broke this, idea down to me, which made so much sense to me, which he pretty much said that right now collectively, especially in this country, people have an adolescent mindset and not an adult mindset, to the point where, you know, you can be 40, 50 years old and still have an adolescent mindset, to the point where you're dependent on something or anything and not trying to be a creator of your reality. And that's what adults do. Adults don't point the blame to something or anything, or just like, blame the kids on why their life sucked. An adult is just, they're going to create. And you don't need to be, 20 or 30 something to be an adult to create anything. You could be 13, 14, 15 and figure this stuff out. And when he said this to me, I'm like, whoa, this actually makes a lot of sense to me. And I started just thinking, like, for example, how, like, pretty much like people our age or even younger would say, like, things are unfair. You know what I mean? And the one thing that I started personally understanding is that the only two things that we can control is what we think about and what we do. And everything outside of that is really nothing much we can do. But the power with those two things, if we really use it to like our maximum, ability, we're literally limitless. You know what I mean? And we wouldn't have to ask why this, why that, or why we get put in these certain circumstances. And that's been weirdly enough switching my mindset enough, like, to be extremely grateful that I'm in a predicament to create. And like, not necessarily, I don't look at anything as a bad thing. I try to look at it for what it is, and that's the kind of mindset that I'm trying to get other people around me to develop as well, instead of looking at everything as a crutch, especially when it goes wrong, because it's really not. You know what I mean? It's just, I always look at things as, if it does go wrong, that means that there's something to be learned. That's all it actually is. So like, that's like, that kind of mindset is the one that I've been trying to chip away and like develop, and trying to have this, creator kind of mindset, and form this reality that we living in.
For sure. Yeah. That, like, so much of the conversations we have remind me of, like, just, I was so lucky to like meet my mentors at such a young age. Like, I met people who just like changed the way I thought about everything when I was 18. And most people, like, never meet mentors or never meet people who just like change their mindset like that. I think what you're doing here is hopefully going to help a lot of people our age like think differently. So I think obviously like your brand and what you're doing is awesome too. I'm just
I
so excited.
appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. All the stuff that I've heard about it, I'm just like, this guy's gonna do big things. So I'm excited. But yeah, it just, even talking about like, you know, people and who are supposed to be adults, like, not, who are still like acting like they're teenagers. I know so many people like my age or older who need to grow up and like refuse to grow up, and not even like, whatever, we're all kids, you can act like a kid and have fun and be authentic and real. You don't have to be like a like robot or boring. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to
No,
be.
I get what you mean. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you moving as if like you got to be this uptight, you know what I mean?
And that's not what being an adult means to me. It's just like radical responsibility, like taking personal responsibility of your life and being like, hey, if you don't like where you're at in life, if you don't like your current circumstances, like, you are literally the only one who can change those. Like, other people can't do it for you. They can tell you what to do, or they can help you, like help give you guidance or perspective. But at the end of the day, if if you want a different life, you're the only one who can like actually change that. So I think a lot of people too just like don't want to take responsibility. They want to blame other people or society or politics or geez, like whatever it is, their parents, like, and that's all valid. But a lot of like of the work I've been doing like with my therapist, and I follow a lot of that stuff on Instagram too, is just like, you can't help, or you can't control that people have hurt you, or people have like done bad things to you, or whatever, the world, society. You can't control the like the cards that you've been dealt, but you can choose to like, it's your responsibility to heal from that. It's your responsibility to like overcome that because no one else can do it. So you either choose to be a victim for the rest of your life and choose that victim mentality, or you take personal responsibility and stop blaming everyone and take your power back so then you can change your life.
That is profound. Like seriously, that's like that one thing like I can personally say like that was holding me back for a long time. Like, like I already told you my background. Everybody that's listening, you guys know my background with basketball and everything. It was one of those where I didn't receive help or anything, but it was something that I was really passionate about. But as time went on and things wasn't clicking, I looked at that as all more reason to quit, as time kept going on. And I'm like, wow, I'm looking at other people's situations like, oh, they got a trainer, they got a coach, they're doing this, they made their high school team or whatever. And after a while, I was really started beating myself over that. But that started leading me to start self-sabotaging myself at the same exact time. And in hindsight, I could look back at it and like, oh, I see what went wrong there. You know what I mean? Duh. But you know what I mean? Now it's just like, well, and when I was in those moments, it just was like I was just in a tunnel with no light, you know what I mean? And it was just I was moving through it. But I can honestly say that the reason why I did start this brand and this podcast is for people honestly not to have an excuse. Like, if I did end up continuing down that path and try to blame every single circumstance that went wrong in my life as the reason why I ended up failing, instead of holding myself like accountable for what I was doing and the decisions that I was making and even how I was thinking, like um I want people like not to feel like they're alone in this journey that we're going through, because we're not. And that's a sad and depressing thing that a lot of people feel as though like they're by themselves and they can't talk to people about certain things that they're going through. But to me, the biggest thing with growth is being able to be vulnerable. That's like the biggest thing to me, instead of just being guarded up, because like you're defending yourself from something that you shouldn't even be defending yourself like you're defending yourself from yourself. Ultimately, that's what you're doing. And once I got past that and I realized like I was the person that was being in my own way, then I started realizing that, wow, a lot of these doors that would never open, even though I was trying to put my shoulder through it, are now just simply turning at the twist of this doorknob. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird, but for example, even meeting someone like you and you doing everything that you're doing, if I still had any of those limited beliefs, like this high key would have never happened.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'm like, really, that's why I always like tell people, like, I really do wake up in the morning and I appreciate it like for what it is. And I'm really grateful for what it is, because every day presents like a new opportunity and a new chance to grow, and there's new things out there, but it just depends on how you look and how you think about it. And that's the kind of mindset that I'm just trying to instill in like anyone and everyone that's willing to listen.
Definitely. It's contagious for sure. Like, I mean, I've only known you for like 4 days now, but obviously just going through your Instagram and like hearing your podcast and stuff like that, like you've already shifted my mindset about stuff too, and I've learned things from you. So I love how you talked about like the power of being vulnerable. I don't know if you've heard of Brene Brown before.
Never.
Oh, she's so good. Yeah, she's she just does a lot of research around like vulnerability. She has like a Netflix special. She's super famous because she has a lot of really great research around like just the power of vulnerability and how much it just changes people. Like hearing other people's authentic, transparent, like real stories of like no one wants to hear the story about the guy who just slid through life and like everything was easy for him and he just ended up being a million. Like no one wants to hear that. We want to hear about the like
Yeah, down bad. Yeah.
yeah, like the comeback kid, like the freaking Slumdog Millionaire type stuff. Like that's the stuff we love, and it's because even me, like with mental health, just talking about that and being way more open about that now is like there's people out there who are like scared to like that's just it is a personal thing, and it's something that I'm still not like super comfortable like putting out there, but I know by me talking about it, it helps other people like normalize it, like, oh, it's like normal to see a therapist once a week, because at least from small town Iowa, like where I'm from, it's like not normal to see a therapist. Like if you see a therapist, you're crazy or whatever. But it's like It actually helps so much. It's like going to the doctor. People go to the doctor to prevent like getting sick, or you have your yearly checkups. You know, like you go to the doctor to make sure you're healthy. And like it's the same with like mental health and stuff. And so um I guess for me, honestly, like a lot of people who know me from like college or even back home probably would not think that I like go to a therapist. So that's just one big part of being vulnerable for me, is like being open about that and like talking about that and making other people feel like it is normal, like you talked about. So, yeah, you just said so much great stuff. I'm like, I could go like 10 different ways here. Like this podcast could be like 5 hours long, but
Listen, like that's the thing. Like I told you, like typically, like for people, they be like, oh, like your podcast, like you should do it shorter or whatever. Like I learned from Joe Rogan, like whenever this podcast ends, it ends. I don't really
yeah,
care. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna just follow the vibe. You know what I mean?
that's
Like
cool.
it's the one thing that I wanted to say based off like what you just said is just like the most important thing right now in this day and age to me personally is mental health, and that's the one thing that people aren't taking that much serious, and we're all being affected by it in some way, shape, or form. People are just doing really good jobs at like hiding it. They
Yeah,
do, like, people do a really good job, but behind closed doors they're freaking out, you know what I mean?
definitely. And for me too, it's like I was one of those people who like never talked about my feelings and who always just push stuff down and pretend like I was fine. And like that worked for a while, but eventually there comes a point where like you have like a breakdown almost, or you can't do that anymore. Like it just doesn't work. It's not healthy to do that. So I definitely recommend whoever's listening to this, and for you too, to like check out Brene Brown and like just like look into that, like self-awareness and just checking in with yourself. A big thing too is like actually taking time to like rest and like, I'm very much like, I've always been a hustler. Like I always hustle. I got hella business, like different business ideas and stuff, but just like
So you have a hard time chilling. You have a hard time like slowing down and be like, okay.
it's a real thing. You should see my Google Calendar. It's kind of crazy. I'm trying, ever since I graduated college, I've tried to be better and like really prioritize, like, based on like my future goals. Because in college, I was kind of just like doing everything and like in hella student orgs and just like doing all this different stuff, which was fun and it was cool, but it like really long-term impact. It really, my future, like for the goals I wanted later on, it didn't have a lot to do with that. So I also had to work a lot during college too. I worked like almost 40 hours a week on top of like classes and like businesses and student org. So looking back, I literally don't know how I got through college. I'm like,
I would have been done. I probably would have been done doing that after like 3 or 4 days. I would have checked out somewhere.
but it
You would,
goes back to imposter syndrome, like we were talking about. Like it was like that was part of my identity, was like being the girl who did it all and like seeming like I had it all together. When going back to mental health too, like, and I had like I was struggling, like we all put on these fronts, and that's like social media. We kind of mentioned that earlier. Is like literally social media is like the highlight reel of everyone's life, and so a lot of people, obviously, you just don't know people's real stories. You don't know what they're really going through.
you're literally seeing their highlights. That's all you're seeing. You're not going to see nobody lowlights. Ain't nobody, like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like the only time that you do see that is sad is just like, when somebody passes away. That's pretty much it. That's the only time where you like open up for vulnerability. But when it just comes to flat out themselves, people are not going to put their lowlights, you know what I mean, up
Right.
there for people to see. But
Unless you follow their spam. I don't know if you have friends who like have spam accounts or whatever. And at first it was like whatever the trend was, like putting your um how do I say this? Your rated R like pictures. What, I never had one. Uh
yeah,
but like that was what it started out as, and then it was just like sad girl Instagram, like where people just posted selfies. Maybe this wasn't for you. Just people I knew, their spams went from like pictures of them, being wild to them like being sad, which was kind of, it was just interesting to see that happen. I'm like, oh, like this is how you really feel. Like this is your real life. So it was kind of cool, honestly.
no, weirdly enough, the human in us, like, weirdly enough, love that side. It's just, the darker side of our emotions and who we truly are. And people, weirdly enough, are more fascinated towards that side because it speaks to them more because it's just what they're going through, and they feel that stronger than, you know, the positivity and everything. But it's just there's a solution in it. That's like the whole point. So it's just like, yeah, you could be down on yourself, but be down on yourself to a certain extent. You got to have also that room to heal yourself.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah,
Mhm.
be okay with, like, you know what I mean, your shortcomings with who you are and what you do. And for me, that was literally the toughest thing that I had a hard time dealing with, was accepting my shortcomings and me messing up and my trying times. But once I did, it was weird what happened to me. I just developed this weird peace of mind where I can see other people and what they're going through, and just like, they don't even have to tell me. I can sense it. I can feel it. But it's just like, dude, it's okay. Like, it's cool. You know what I mean? This is not the end of the road. And it's kind of hard for people to like switch their mindset from that to, like, you know, everything is going to go good. But I tell people all the time, like, I didn't think like this all the time, and it took some serious inner work for me to even get here to this point. But it's possible, and don't ever look at anything like it's impossible to do, because then after that, you're making that possible. You know, is
Yeah,
is our minds is like really, really like powerful, and we got to literally trick it to do a lot of different things. You know what I mean?
for
It's
sure.
like, it's weird. I don't even know how to like put it in like simple terms, because I'm
Yeah,
still trying to figure this out like while I'm going along too.
right. For sure. I absolutely like relate to that 100%. Yeah, that's a big thing I've been trying to work on too, is just like giving myself grace and like room to grow, versus I'm an overcoming perfectionist among everything else. Is like, like you just said, like I'm my own worst enemy, or I just like am so hard on myself when everyone else, like, even when I do accomplish cool things, for me, like I would focus on like, oh, but it wasn't like how I as good as I thought it would be. Like I have a standard, I have really high standards for myself and like pretty much everyone in my life, because and I try to be better with like other people, because I just love the way you describe that, like going back earlier to what we were talking about too, you don't know what other people are going through, but also like giving other people hope, like you talked about, and just knowing like they're going through a lot and it is possible to change and stuff. But one question I actually had for you, um,
That
yeah, I gotta keep you on your feet over here.
was a plot
um,
twist.
it's kind of related to what we were talking about earlier, but something my mentors talk about a lot is like the concept of like legacy mindset, and like the legacy you want to leave behind you, or just like legacy, like the impact you want to make on the world. And I know your brand and your what you have started is like huge into like that's a huge part of your business or your brand. I guess, what is like legacy mean to you with this brand, and also in your personal life? Like what legacy do you want to leave on the world?
Wow, that was powerful. So to be quite honest, I literally have, like, I guess, an in-depth answer to that question, and how with my brand and my personal life is very well parallel and is very well linked. And
Mhm.
for a long time, with the reason why, like I said, I started this podcast and my brand in general, I don't even know what that was, but why I started my brand in general was to encourage people to take practical means on their passions, whether it's to create a service or a product for someone else. And that's the legacy that I want to leave behind. For two, I know that once I've like fulfill my destiny with this, that I'm leaving this world in a better position than the one I came into, and I didn't make it worse. And for another reason is, like, from my upbringing, and where I'm from, and like I come from like the inner city, uh like no money at all. Like all my family like pretty much was born and raised there. That's where they're from. And things kind of got bad probably when I was like 12 and 13, and my mom moved us, like away, and moved us in a suburban area. But my biggest thing was to always give back to where I came from, and give those people the same opportunities that my mom gave me. And I've been like set fast on that. And like for the same thing, even with my brothers and sisters, that's like a bigger thing that keeps my legacy going. And honestly, I look at pretty much everyone weirdly enough the same, in a sense where I believe in everybody, and I believe what people are capable of, and I put my faith in humanity, no matter how evil people say we are, and that we're going to be self-sabotaging. Somebody got to think differently, and somebody got to think otherwise. You know what I mean? If
Mhm.
I got to be that person, I got to face against the whole entire world and how they think. I'm going to bet on my faith every single time. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And ultimately, that's like the legacy that I want to leave behind. I want people to feel inspired by what they see from hearing somebody like you talk, and other people, or even me, and feel as though I'm capable of really doing whatever it is that I'm truly want to do. And then once they start doing it, then somebody else will look at them and be like, whoa, I can do that too. And then after that, it just spreads a wildfire. So pretty much that's like kind of the legacy that I want to leave behind, with purpose served in what I'm doing. And I'm
That's
going to just try my best.
Yeah. I mean, again, I've only known you for like a couple days, but it's like, yeah, the conversations we had over text or just, Instagram, and your brand from what I've seen like online and stuff is like 100%. Like I have friends in like the entrepreneurial space, or just like, how do you even say this? It's like you're like my people. Like you just have those people where you're like so like-minded, and you just like you're on the same like, you want similar things out of life. Like you want to truly help people, and it's just like you think so much the same. Like it's not about us, and you literally just described it so like so well. That's so cool to hear. I
It
see
felt like I
little
was just like rambling on just now. I'm not even gonna
no,
lie.
no, it all connected. Like it all made sense, and absolutely, like I think that's so awesome. I can see that like already with you, and we've just like gotten to know each other. So I'm excited to see like how much your brand like keeps evolving and just like helping people and stuff. And um no, I think that's so cool. Legacy is like such a huge thing, that going back to like people our age feeling lost and just like not knowing what they want out of life, it's like when you think more about the impact you want to make on the world and other people, then you kind of figure out what you want. You kind of figure out what your purpose is by how you want to help other people. It's like take your eyes off yourself, put it on other people, and that's how you figure out like what you want in life.
Wow. That's
Mm.
that's that's crazy. Like, it's weird. Like, I got this little weird like roadmap to success. So
Mhm.
pretty much like what you just said, like I feel as though the very first thing, and for those of you listening on the podcast, I'm pretty sure you heard this yet again. I'm a broken record. I apologize, but you need to start off with a destination first of who you want to be and where you're trying to go. And then I think the very last step from that is the consistency
Mm.
of you embodying that person and doing whatever you got to do to manifest that. And I don't put them like one and two. Like, I want to say, if there's this 12 steps, the destination will be first and the consistency will be 12th.
Mhm.
And everything in between is you just setting yourself up for the consistency to revert all the way back to step one when you reach your destination. But I feel as though you never should put the destination last and try to make the consistency like first. You got to do it kind of counterintuitive. It's almost as if like having a blueprint, and then after that gathering the tools that you need in order to get this thing done, and then start doing it. That's
Mhm.
like kind of how things been like looking in my mind in regards to building like a personal success.
Mhm. That's cool. And before I listen to, I think you have like talked about it, or I've heard you talk about it a couple times. And like before hearing you talk about it that way, I've never heard anyone else talk about it like you always just hear like, yeah, consistency first, or things like that. But I've never heard anyone talk about it like that before. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. Hold on, give me 1 second.
You're good.
All right, boom. But I just had to turn on the light. But it's like, for me, it's when, for example, I told you like a lot of things that I've learned came from basketball.
Mhm.
Like for example, I have this one workout that I do that helped me like consistently make shots consistently without missing. And pretty much it started off with me making 5 shots without missing 3 in a row. My goal was to get the 10 shots made in a row without missing. So it started off with 5 without missing 3 in a row. But I had that blueprint in my head. But I told myself, as long as I keep going with this consistency and then just keep modifying it and modifying it, I'm going to get to that 10. And I noticed what started to happen. It went from me making 5 shots without missing 3 in a row, got easy. Then, the next week it was, make 6 without missing 3 in a row. Then 10 without missing 3 in a row. Then 5 in a row. Then 6 in a row. Then 7. Then 8. But it came little by little at a time until I was able to make 10 in a row from different spots. But I noticed that what the planning I went about it as and how I broke it down into baby steps and then worked my way up. A lot of times what makes people stop is just like sometimes they do like bite more off than they can chew. And then after that, it gets real frustrating to the point where you want to quit. But I always like try to tell people is, yeah, you can have that ultimate goal, but then after that, have little goals in between that's letting you know that slowly but surely you're getting there. You're getting to that ultimate goal. And then also have behaviors intact. So when it comes to get this done, you know what to do to get it done. Like always be prepared. That's what I always try to get people to like, just try to be prepared, because it's two things another thing that I always say in this podcast that people always have too much of, and it's either knowledge or action. People either do too much and that have them going through trial and error all the time, or they gather too much knowledge and that leaves them in stagnation where they know everything to do, but they don't know what to do in that first step to take, because all that information that they got, they know all a million and one ways that things can go, but they're not going to do any of them. And if we just balance those two things out and just like take action here or gather information and then apply the information that you just got and just keep doing that and doing that and doing that, it's just surprising like what a person can actually build if we just keep up with certain behaviors over, a certain period of time. It's crazy.
For sure. Everything you're talking about, it reminds me of the book called Atomic Habits. Have you read it before?
No, I never read it. What is that about?
I actually have it right here. It's not the cover. It basically just talks about how, it's so good. I don't even know how to like sum it up, man, but just how like your little actions, like, oh gosh, it's not about like big life changes like everyone thinks. It's about like tiny little like micro changes like every day, and like how kind of going back to consistency, but also just like, yeah, everyone thinks it's these big life changing things, but really it's like little tiny choices of like choosing to be like, my mentors always talk about like the pain of discipline versus the pain of regret. It's like,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know if you've heard of that concept at all, but it's just like, you can choose the pain of like of being disciplined now, and like it's tough, it's hard, like seeing everyone else our age going out partying all the time or whatever, just like watching Netflix and doing nothing, like just like, going through the motions in their life. I mean, for me it's not that hard, but for a lot of people it is just like they don't want to do the work, they don't want to be disciplined, they want to just like chill and enjoy their time and be young. But it's like if you choose that, that yeah, if you choose not to be disciplined now, then you're gonna choose like the pain of
Later.
regret later. So either like, yeah, so like you will regret not like doing all the work now, or not all the work, but like you're gonna regret not using this time now as like time when you can be making your life better. Instead you didn't waste it, but like, you kind of just went through the motions. You just did what everyone told you to do, and you never thought bigger and
Oh
like,
yeah, that's wasting it. Oh yeah.
right. But a lot of people don't think about it that way. A lot of people just think this is how it is. Like this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm just supposed to like chill. I'm just supposed to party and drink and like, that's just normal to people. But
The one thing that I started realizing, and this is something I did talk about on a podcast, is the concept of people are uncomfortable no matter what they're doing. They may think
yeah,
that they're comfortable, but like, for example, even with like what you just said, with people that party all the time and everything, they know at the end of the day, those days add up. Their body start feeling crazy after a while, and they're like, wow, I could have
yeah.
been doing something else, and I know it. But people much rather be in a predictable situation, even when they know it's bad for them, than rather than going towards the unknown. that'd be good for them because of the uncertainty that's there. Like us as human beings love things that's predictable. That's why we like numbers. That's why we like science. That's why we like music. You know what I mean? A lot of that stuff is predictable, and we're able to, our mind can go forward, you know, before the song plays out on how it's going to play out and how it's going to sound and everything. It's like, oh, I like this. But when things are uncertain and you're going towards like the unknown, that's where your whole entire being is being tried. And especially when you're going towards something that you truly want to do and you truly love doing, that's when it's just like, oh man, do I really want to do this? Am I really up for the task? But then as you start to put yourself to the test, you're like, wow, this uncomfortability was worth it. In fact, I'm willing to put myself through this again, but in a whole different way, you
Right.
know. And
Yeah.
it's just that's the one thing, another thing that I've been learning along this journey, and try to get people to understand, like, you can sit on a couch and watch Netflix all week and not do nothing, but once that week is up, you're going to look back and like, I could have went to the gym, X amount of days, instead of like doing that. I'm like, oh my God, next week I ain't going to do this again. Like, I really won't. And then next week you're like, yo, I should have went to the gym like X amount of days. Wow, I seen that before. Oh
Right.
my God, I wonder what's going to happen the week after that, you
Mhm.
know? And then it's just, those are the patterns that we typically, get caught up in. And it's not only, with, sitting around, but that's just in general. And I always say, like, even on this podcast too, that if you're hearing this, then you don't have an excuse anymore, because now you're aware. If you didn't know this and you wasn't aware, then it's just like, oh, you might go through some weird kind of shocking truth about yourself. But if you do know and you have heard this before, and you're still doing the same thing, it's like, at that point, you know there's nothing else to save you but yourself. But
Mhm.
it's just like, for me personally, the only reason why I'm even doing this is, like, for example, like I told you earlier, this is some stuff that I wish I knew, and I had to like blatantly go out there and open up books and do my own research and find it for myself. But then once I did find it for myself, I'm just like, whoa, I could just I could just show this to other people. Like, this is mad cool, this is mad fascinating. Like, I think other people should be like listening to this or hearing this or getting this information. And that's like, I've been telling you this the last couple of days. That's why I feel as though with what you're doing is really, really important, because like, this is stuff that people need to know,
Mhm.
and everything that you're doing, I'm like in full support of.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I just think our brands are so similar, and like we have such similar missions, which is why when you first reached out to me and I like, stalked you or whatever, like looked at your page, lurked, I was like, oh my gosh, this dude is doing like this, not the same thing, but it's like it's so aligned. Like our missions are so similar, and we really just want to like, yeah, we're learning all these things for ourselves, and we've been taught these things. Like for me, by my mentors or just like coaches or podcast books, whatever. We're learning all this for ourselves, and like we don't want to keep it inside of us. We don't want to like just be selfish and like keep that within us. We want to like share that with other people and like bring other people along with us. And like really for me, especially people my age, like in our 20s, because that's just, I'm just so passionate about like helping people like wake up and just like realize that, again, like the way society says we have to live is not how it has to be at all. Like I don't know if you saw one of the next level speakers, the first one is, her name's Katie, she's like one of my childhood best friends, but she freaking moved to Australia. Like she's just like loves,
What?
right, yeah, she's so cool, man. She's on a freaking game show, like she's like TikTok famous, or like kind of famous, but she just like had, she's like, I don't know if I can like cuss on here.
Whoa.
Yeah, can I cuss
Not,
on here? Okay.
go right ahead.
She's basically just like fuck the American dream. Like that is not what I want. I'm gonna go make my own dream and like pursue my own dream. And um, she's just so cool, man. You should honestly, I'll connect you guys because she should definitely be a speaker on your podcast. She's so
Oh,
cool.
if
Yeah,
she wants to be on the podcast, like, please
yeah.
tell her. Please
Okay.
tell her.
I will, because she just like, she lives so authentically and so like unapologetically, and obviously she deals with similar things. Like she's a human, we all go through like whatever, caring what people think about us or things like that, but really she doesn't. She just like, I'm gonna live my life like you, like literally YOLO or whatever. Like I only have
She's
one
living
life,
in Australia. That's how I know she don't care about anything.
right?
Oh,
Yeah, and she
oh
moved
my
here right
God.
before COVID started, so it was kind of tough. Obviously, like she had a job lined up, and then like because of COVID, like she lost her job, so she's just like figuring things out. And I was like, it's crazy. Her story is so cool.
Whoa.
I'll definitely connect you guys because she's just awesome. But going back to what you're talking about, though, um, yeah, just super passionate about like helping people not go through the motions in their life and not like exactly like what you were saying earlier. It reminded me of a quote what you were talking about. My mentors always say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Like,
Results, yeah.
yeah, that's so freaking true. And people like, I don't know, like how do you expect when your life is like, oh, or okay, my mentor talks about too. He's like, he talks about when he first graduated from college and he had this really bougie internship and he like thought he made it. Like everyone was telling him how successful, like he's on the track, like he's gonna do big things in life. And he's like an accountant at this like big accounting firm or whatever. And he's like going throughout this whole internship every day. He's like in traffic. He's like stuck in traffic and he looks over on both sides of him and he sees people in their 20s like him, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And he's like, if I don't do anything different, like how am I, like I'm going to be the same as these people. I'm going to be 70 going to work stuck in traffic. Like that's going to be my life. So it's just like that just like that
Wow.
rocked me. I'm like, that's so true. Like people don't realize like, or again, I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry, but I'm so
It's
passionate.
cool.
It's
It's
like
cool.
people don't think like whatever. We get so caught up in titles, and we're always told like titles or the job that you have like make or defines you as a person or whatever. Like people get so caught up in that stuff, but it's like look at the results that the people who are 10, 15 years down on the career path that you want. Like, what does their life look like? And not just their like, are they rich? Whatever, like my mentors have taught us like money is this like money doesn't matter whatever, like obviously you want to make it so you don't have to worry about it and be in debt forever, but after that it's like your smallest problem. It's like what do those people's marriage look like? Are they like, do they actually have a relationship with their kids, or are they working all the time? Do they actually get to travel? Have they actually pursued the dreams that they have, or do they just, like did they trade their whole life for a job, for a title, for money? And it's just like people don't think that way though, because they're
Yo, for
so,
real.
yeah, they're so like we're so obsessed with money and we're so obsessed with like uh I don't even know. I'm just like I can talk about that forever. I'm so passionate about that, but it's like that was
No,
the that was the path I was going down though. And that's the craziest thing is like all it takes is like people like us or like my mentors or just people to like wake you up and realize how crazy that stuff is. Like that is not what life is about. Like for
I
the
feel
American
as though that is literally one of the biggest illusions that we've been made to believe, and the hypnosis on that is
Mhm,
like it's freaking crazy.
mhm,
Like I want to say if my behavior got so out of whack, like I want to say between like 18 and like 21, 22, that between like I want to say those 4 years, I look back at it and it was just like, whoa, why am I doing this stuff? And I know this ain't me, but why am I doing it? Why do I feel the need that I have to do it? And it started off at first, it's like, all right, my friends and everybody around me is doing it. So I guess it's like this is the thing. And
mhm,
then it actually turned into me like, oh, all right, I'm comfortable with it. I actually kind of like it. I'm actually am having a good time. Then after that, it's just like, all right, how do I get out of this? Because this is getting bad. Then it
yeah.
gets real, real bad. And then it's just like, well, I can only go up from here. I can't go any lower. I literally can't go any lower.
Rock
And
bottom.
yeah, once you're at rock bottom, you really see things for what it really is. And it's just like, whoa, like
Mhm,
do I want to stay down here, or I'm going to make the conscious choice to climb out of this,
mhm,
that I put myself here. But a lot of people do believe that, hanging out with their friends and doing God knows what all the time is like that's the way to go, until they leave that environment and they know. It's not even like I think, it's like they know what they're doing to the core of them. It's like this ain't really what I should be doing. And
mhm,
then after that, if you got something in you that's telling you that this ain't what, like, this isn't what you should be like doing, I just butchered that. But then you also got something else in you that's telling you that this is what you should be doing. But it's just
Mhm.
like, which one are you listening to?
Yep.
And that's like the biggest thing. And I'm, like I said throughout this podcast, like I've been lately just trying to look at things for the truth of it, for what it really is, and not relative to what I think of it as or what I think it should be, but
Mhm.
try to look at it for what it really is. And that's what I try to do with like pretty much any and everything. But it's something that I didn't know how to do. And that oftentimes made me look at situations and everything for the worst of it, because that's what I was trained to believe, like all my life, to get conditioned to believe that things are supposed to be this way. Like I'm supposed to like get a job to live to be like a weekend warrior
Mhm.
Saturday and Sunday and then go back to hating Mondays. Like, that's school taught us like Monday through Friday, like, you know what I mean? To be a weekend warrior. And
Mhm.
then after that, you get a job to literally do the same thing. And I tell people, like, you don't want to waste, 70% of your life to live the last 30 of it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's crazy when you could just literally do it right now as we speak. And it's like nothing stopping you at
Mhm.
all. It's crazy.
Except for ourselves, right?
Except
But
for ourselves.
it's so true though. Like you were talking about with our just law of association is a real thing, man. That's something I learned. Like my mentors taught me at a young age is like the five people, like that super cliche quote or what, but it's true. Like the five people that you spend the most time with are that's how you're gonna end up. Like the five people that you're around the most, you're gonna be like each of those people. And you're just the more you surround yourself with them, like yeah, you just have to like surround yourself with people who fit your future and not your past. People who help you level up and not who like hold you back or push you like pull you back down. And dude, exactly like you're talking about, like this whole conversation just about the way society makes us think is like people think that us, like people who are doing things differently, like we're brainwashed or we're weird or we're crazy, right? Until we succeed, and then we're lucky, and then they always knew that we were going to succeed, and they were always rooting for us, right? But it's like, no dude, like you didn't want anything what I had when I was first starting out. Like you didn't think that the stuff, whatever people this podcast is going to be like hella big someday, and people whatever, we all have haters, it's a thing. But it's just like sad. It's like people who are too scared to like live their own life and who are too scared to go after their own dreams, so they hate on other people. But yeah, that was, I don't know how those connected, but just
Listen, I literally, like, I understand like 100% where you're coming from, because I see it now, like to this day, you know, with, like, for example, how far I came in this basketball journey.
so
And people like that at first, like when I was like getting cut from the team and everything, it's just like now they just act like that never even happened, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I'll always accept any and all support that anybody give me, but I'm the type of person that never ever forgets. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And also, it's like, yeah, that's cool that that did happen, but if you do still have that little resentment in your heart for whatever odd reason, like, you know, I'm encouraging you to let that go and, do whatever it is that you truly want to do instead of looking at somebody else's life, like, why are they doing that, and being like judgmental. Is just like, you know just you create something, you know what I mean? People like judging people that are movers and shakers, I guess.
Mhm.
But it's just like, you don't have to do that. You can just do it yourself, whatever it is that you're trying to do. And it's like, that's like even the whole point of why we're even doing this.
Mhm.
But the one thing is, like I said, I always embrace like the good, the bad, and the ugly. So it's just like, for me, I don't even sweat, small stuff like that. And I recently just became like this. I wasn't like this, I would want to say, like, last year, to the point where, like, if I hear something negative, I'll just use that as like a fuse. Just like, oh, gotta prove my haters wrong. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Mhm.
But I'll let all of that go, and I understand why people do feel that way, and they most of the time don't even know any better.
Mhm.
That's why they like going about it that way. So it's just like, it's weird. It's weird. I try to like counterbalance everything out with its opposite if something is going on that I don't like, to like try to line myself up again.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like you. I know I was kind of passionate. I'm like haters, like fuck the haters, but I'm the same way. I really don't. For me, it's like I focus on the opposite. I'm gonna remember the people who always did believe in me and who always were there for me, and I'm gonna give back to them and like spoil the hell out of them someday. You know, like I'm gonna give back to them versus like obviously we know we have haters. We know we have people who just like don't believe in us or who tear us down or talk shit, whatever. But it's like, yeah, same way. I really have tried, or I really don't. I don't really hear about those people yet because I'm just starting out. I know they're probably out there, but whatever. Someday when we're both hella successful, we're gonna have those people, and it's just about like, you know, remembering who's important and who's always believed in you and who's always been there for you. Like that's part of my legacy. Is like I'm excited to give back to. Like I can go off on this whole tangent too, so I'm gonna keep it short. But like remembering the people who always believed in me and who always were there for me, because like I don't know how to describe this, but I've always known from a young age that like I was meant to do something bigger and like do like make a big impact. I just never knew what that was. I never knew what that looked like, and I'm still figuring that out, like we both are. But it's like I've always just known that I was gonna do big things in life, and like so I've always paid attention to the people who like encourage me and like clap. Or what's that quote? It's like basically you've realized who your friends are when like you're succeeding, and or but it's something about like clapping. Oh gosh, I should have looked this up. It's pretty much like,
That's cool.
it's something like pay attention to who's clapping when you're succeeding versus like something like that. Oh
You're
gosh.
getting closer. You almost got
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I know. I'll find it, or I'll remember when I don't need it, right? That's how it is. But it's pretty much like that. It's like pay attention to the people who like really truly are happy for your success and who really truly like want you to succeed versus just like I don't really have fake friends anymore. I've definitely had my fair share of fake friends in the past, and like I'm so loyal, man. Like they took themselves out of my life because I can never whatever. But anyway, yeah, it's just like you know your fake friends, you know, like what's that? There's so many songs or just cliche quotes about like you find out who your friends are. Like that's a real thing. You find out who like your real friends are, especially being an adult. Like who's really going to be there for you. Stuff like this, like yeah, you just find your people, and I just love that about this like online space or just like the things that we both of us were still both pretty new at this, but like finding people like you and like finding people who have the same mission and who like want to make a big impact, like these are my people. And like I just love meeting people like you, like and both of us just like helping each other out and stuff like that. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And weirdly enough, as of I want to say like last week, I started like, you know, trying to find like other people that's like-minded and think this way like as well. And it's been really difficult, to be quite honest. But like for example, I came across somebody like you where it's just like, whoa, this is like I got really fascinated with what you're doing. And I was like, oh my God, it'd be mad awesome if I could get her on a podcast. And this is just like to even be here in this moment, you know, and I don't even know. It feels like we've been talking for like 30 minutes, but I don't even know. God knows how long we've been talking. But this is just like, it's really, really incredible to like, you know, hear your mindset and to hear what you got going on and how you even go about dealing with life. You know, that's pretty much like the fundamental reason of us even being human beings is that we're always trying to figure this thing out. And oftentimes, like I just had a conversation with my little brother earlier with, you know, even I was just talking about like my parents and how even though they're trying to help us guide us along, they're still trying to figure out this same exact puzzle that we're trying to figure out at the same exact time. We're trying to give us the pieces, you know. So why not collectively share information? Why not collectively, you know, build a community where people are supporting each other instead of building division and everything? Like, I don't think that the universe or God just wants separation and division with everything. It's just like, so that's my whole point, is just try to like unify people in a way where their actions and their services are making other people's lives more enjoyable than if they didn't create that product or didn't create that service. So that's like what I became like really, really ambitious about. And a lot of things that I learned from basketball, I've been able to apply with the podcast and the brand and everything, where at first, like even with basketball, I kind of had an idea of what I thought it was going to be and what I was doing. But as I started going along, it started figuring itself out. But I started learning so much what came with it, with dealing with adversity, shortcomings, love, failure, the whole nine. I learned a lot from it, but then I was able to apply it to other things like outside of basketball. And it's been such a beautiful journey, but anybody can do that with anything that they do, whatever they're passionate about. And that's like, it's been like my number one goal. So, and it's just like same thing with you. It's like the same exact thing. That's why I really do believe, and I told you this, like I have the ultimate faith that, you're going to prosper in everything that you're going to do because of the mindset that you have. It's inevitable. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you. I received that. Thank you so much. Yeah. Wow. I'm just excited too, because I mean, your listeners, like people on Purpose Serve podcast, y'all are the first to find out. But so the next level event, originally the plan was just to do it annually, like once a year. But I'm actually doing it like 2 more times this year. So the next time will be in May, and I've actually asked is it
Daryl.
Daryl, dang it.
It's all good.
It's like that's how I want to say it, but then I'm like, I'm gonna say Daryl, right? Okay,
Yep.
okay. So Daryl's actually gonna be a speaker for it, which is so exciting. Just like, yeah, literally we like hit it off right away, and the stuff we were talking about when we were getting to know each other. I'm like, and then you mentioned you like it's always been on your bucket list to do a TED talk and all this stuff. Like, dude, this guy has to be a next level speaker. And it's like, so I'm super excited for you to be part of Next Level and like part of the 20 something collective, because that's really the whole goal with it too, is just like, I know you talked about it's hard to find ambitious people our age, but like we are out there. Like there are more people like us out there. And like that's my like the whole mission of, the 20 something collective is like finding us, finding our people who are ready to like level up in life and just like who do want more out of life and who want to take personal responsibility. Like, so I'm just really excited for you to be a speaker, like for Next Level. And he's helping me create my own podcast. Like you've already given me so much like information about that. So I've been researching it. I'm like Buzzsprout, Anchor, Buzzsprout, like trying to so I'm excited to have you on my podcast and just like keep collabing, because it's, again, I've said it a couple of times, but like you're you're one of my people, and it's just like it's all about mindset. It really is. It comes back to like the way you think, and like it's just so cool, like finding people like us. And like, yeah, I'm excited for you to like get connected with like more of my friends. I know I connected you with Michael.
Yeah.
Like, Katie, hopefully they both get to come on the podcast because they're just so cool. And like, I'm just excited. Like we're both going to do big things. I appreciate you saying all that to me, like about me. Like I
Yeah, I truly mean it. I got this weird feeling or weird knowing that
Mhm.
this is definitely way bigger than us. And just like I'm trying to embody as much of it as possible, but I can definitely like feel that this is going to take off in a way where I can't explain it, but I have a knowing, you know what I mean? Especially with what you're doing. And like I said, this platform is available for you anytime you feel like you want to get something off your chest. If you got an idea or something, or even if you got any promo that you got coming up, like this platform is always available for you.
Thanks. Back at you, honestly. I obviously the 20 something collective is pretty small now, but that really is the goal with it, is just to like feature people like you, like feature really cool, normal people doing like really cool things. Just to help inspire other people our age. Like, what was it? A couple months ago, you're just like, I'm gonna go for it. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Why can't I? But it's like by you, like by other people hearing that about your story, is like, like if Daryl can do it, I can do it. Like if he just like chose to do it, then I can choose to do it. And like you're gonna inspire so many people, and I'm just excited. Like I know we keep talking about it, we keep hyping each other up, but it's like it's real. It's like it's exciting, and we're gonna come back to this someday, and we're gonna be like, damn, like we're the next freaking, I don't know, Tony Robbins, or I don't know who you look up to. I'm excited. It's gonna be cool.
Can you tell the people like where they can find you at?
Ooh, yes. So on Instagram, we're at the 20 something collective. So should I spell that out? I've never been on a podcast. I don't know how this works.
Oh, so listen, all you got to do is just tell them what the links are. I mean, what your Instagram and everything, and I'm going to put everything in the description.
Okay, cool.
So I got you.
Yeah, Instagram's the best way to like find us and then connect. Like we have a link to our Facebook group. That's really what we're working on right now, is creating a free Facebook group for people who just want to connect with each other. We're going to do like similar to Next Level. We're going to have a monthly, we're going to feature a monthly speaker who's like a 20 something who just tells their story pretty much. He honestly will probably be a speaker in that too. I'm just for everything, man. I'd be like, yo, this is my new friend Daryl. Like,
I would not mind.
Yeah. But anyway, so really cool stuff happening in that too, and it's free. And then yeah, so Instagram is probably the best place to start out. But Daryl's helping me make that podcast, so that'll be coming
Absolutely.
up. Big plans. Like we have so much cool stuff planned. But Next Level is in May, so if you do want to hear Daryl be a speaker and like all of our other really cool speakers, definitely follow the Instagram, and I'll be posting information about it soon. So yeah, a little teaser there. You got to follow to hear more info.
So listen, people, when the event is coming up closer, I'm gonna let you guys know about it. But also, I would love for you guys to check out the last event that she had. It's going to be connected to the link in the description. Please, people, look at all the days. Like, how many was it? 4, right? 4 days?
Yeah, so 3 of speakers, and then the 4th day was like a live event that we did with the attendees, and they had live Q&A with the speakers, and then we did some workshops and stuff. So 3 days of speakers, 3 speakers each day, so 9 speakers total. That's a lot of math. And yeah, the 4th day is just kind of a live like connection community event, I guess.
Yeah, like just pay attention to the stuff that they're saying, the information that she got put together and everything is very, very, very insightful, is very helpful. And there's a lot of people in this world that got different ways of looking at things, but it's extremely beneficial. And I would love for you guys to check it out. Yet again, like I said, that link is going to be in the description down below. And for everybody that's listening, please serve your purpose. Raegan is for sure doing hers. And I thank you guys all for watching, and I love you guys.
Love it. Thanks so much again. This was so cool.
Thanks for being on the show. I appreciate it.
For sure. I'll definitely hit you up